Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Disney. Obviously I'm wearing the ears. We're going to be talking about Walt Disney World and rebooking our holiday for 2022. If you missed it, I did this video last year talking about rebooking from 2020 and we were due to go May 2021. We have decided to postpone our trip for a third time lucky until next year, and so I got lots of questions on my Instagram and social media and from that last video asking for a little update and what we've decided to do and why and things to consider for booking this year and next year. Oh, and also I will leave a link to my dress in the description for you. It is actually sold out, but the company do have it coming in and out. They're called Teak and they also have it in grey. So yeah, it's like a really cute little smock dress, so I'll leave it linked. And also the ears are Shop Disney, so I'll leave these linked for you as well. Before we dive into this topic, do recommend you going and watching that other video because I do talk about things to consider, including insurance and ride closures and everything that you might want to keep in mind. And it's still relevant, even though I was referencing booking for 2021, it still is all stuff that I think everyone should be thinking about when they're booking their Florida holiday. And obviously I did mention it in that video, booking Florida and Walt Disney World and going back to Disney is not a high priority for us. When we get to go, it will be amazing. We are still in a pandemic, and so we had to work out what would be best for us. I have to be honest, when I come on social media and being part of sort of the Disney community and sharing our Disney adventures, there does feel like a lot of pressure to be sort of the first or trying to get back as quickly as possible. And for us, it was about finding what would work well and being considerate of a lot of different factors. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today, but by no means is what we're doing necessarily the right thing. You can do whatever works for you. You do you. So if going this year is what's best for you, then of course go for it. I'm going to be living vicariously through all my friends that hopefully will be able to get out for the 50th anniversary celebrations of Magic Kingdom this year, which is crazy. So that is the biggest thing to consider if you are booking for this year. It will be busy with people wanting to join in for those celebrations, but we do know that Disney will be continuing the celebrations, the 50th anniversary stuff, for at least a year, hopefully 18 months. So whether you get out there this year or next year, you'll still be able to enjoy some of the special shows, fireworks, merchandise, and so on. I also wanted to really recommend a video that I watched from Disney Food Blog. It is called, I'll leave it linked for you, but it says what you should and shouldn't expect in Disney World right now. And that video covers a lot of the nitty-gritty of stuff. They cover dining, character meets, and all sorts of things. But I know that a lot of you were intrigued to hear what we had done, but also I wanted to sort of put a little bit of light on the new booking offer that has just launched for UK guests, because this is a big deal, big exciting package. The timeline of events for us was obviously booking in 2019 for a 2020 trip that didn't happen, so we moved to May 2021. That didn't happen, as it is currently May 2021 as I'm filming this and we're not there. So we decided to move by another whole year. We figured if we've had to wait this long to get back, we can wait another year. And I'm really hoping and fingers crossed that that is going to be the right time. And we're already starting to see things change and move, and our UK government have got a traffic light system on which countries are safe to go to, and I will talk a little bit about Disneyland Paris and the cruise as well in a minute, well, at the end of this video, but we're just sort of keeping an eye on it. If you are planning on going anywhere this year, whether it's UK or abroad, I think it's just really important that you keep yourself updated with the latest guidelines. You know, there's just so many changing factors, especially in Florida. They only recently changed the fact that you don't have to wear a mask outside now, which is really great, especially in the heat. And for people that are going for the first time, they can take those lovely photos outside. But you still have to wear masks in ride queues and on rides and insides. But as I'm recording, that is what's happening right now, but anything could change. So that's like something I really recommend that you sort of keep an eye out on what things changing and if that's going to impact your holiday. We don't go to Florida as often as maybe people think we do, because we have vlogs and we do go out to the Disney parks as often as we can. Some of our other trips have been part of work and partnerships we've done with Attraction Tickets, who we have booked with, and I'm going to talk about them in a bit. I am a bit biased because we've worked with them, but I am a paying customer for our first for our next trip, sorry. So I think for us, what I'm trying to say is when we get back out to Florida, it's quite a big deal. It's a big trip. It's 2 weeks of Benji's work time, and it is a lot. It's not a relaxing holiday. It can be relaxing, but it's quite hardcore doing Disney. With the heat, 20,000 steps a day, the adrenaline, there's so much going on. Plus it's a really expensive holiday as well. That was the first thing I just wanted to highlight. Although we do try and get out there as much as possible, when we do go, it is a big holiday. It's a big deal. So going back this time, we wanted to make sure we could get it as close to how we know the parks as possible. We know we're going to have to make some sacrifices. We know it's going to be a very different trip. I'm just glad it's not our first time, or we're celebrating a special anniversary, or it's not a honeymoon or anything like that. If you are doing any of those big trips, then I would wait out just till you're absolutely confident that it's going to be the experience that you want it to be. But even staying on property, Disney property right now, there aren't a huge amount of perks that you're paying the same amount of money for. So things like extra magic hours, early entry or late exit into parks. They are introducing it. Disney have announced that they are going to do sort of a 30-minute window for Disney hotel guests, but they haven't said when. I'm assuming it'll be in by the time we get out there. The transportation is running at a smaller capacity, so Disney are encouraging guests to drive to the parks. You do have to pay for parking at your hotel, but Disney hotel guests don't have to pay for parking at the parks. So it's $15 a night, I think, at the hotel. So when you think about it, it's not too bad, because then that covers your parking for the rest of the day at the other locations. So we are actually going to be having a car this time around, which we've never done before. We've never really liked the idea of a car. It's an added sort of stress, but we do feel like, considering the circumstances, a car might be a good option for us if we can reduce doing so much public transport, especially sort of waiting around for buses and things. If they're running at a lower capacity, maybe having our own car might be helpful. So we are going to be doing that. But yeah, there's not a huge amount of perks. However, Disney have just launched this UK offer. Now, we have booked with Attraction Tickets. As I said, I think they're an amazing company. They have such a good reputation, rightly so. We have had amazing customer service with them. I have changed our holiday twice now, and both times I didn't have any additional fees. The customer services people, in particular a lady called Katie, actually helped us move our trip last time, and she priced up some dates and hotels for me. Now, we originally were booked in All Star Sports. Because not all the hotels were open at the time when we rebooked for May 2021, they moved us to Pop Century, and I actually was quite excited about that because I really want to enjoy the Skyliner and think Pop would be a good option for us. So I've actually kept us there for our trip for next year. The new package that's available is offering guests dining credit. So booking with Attraction Tickets, you get your 14 park days for the price of 7. You get a Star Wars Magic Band. You get COVID cover, and their COVID cover policy is really good. It's worth looking at it. You get $200 spending money on a gift card, which is pretty nice. And then lastly, the best bit is this dining credit. Now, there are no dining plans, as we all know. Disney offering dining credit is the first package and incentive we've seen since the pandemic. So this is a pretty cool offer and very appealing, especially as we've not been able to get over to the US. So if you book at select hotels for select dates, you can get up to $950 for your 2-week stay. So you do need to double check the terms and conditions. For us personally, we get $500. I think it's $34 or $36 per night, which equates to about $500 basically, for staying at Pop Century. But I'll put it on screen here. You can see the different hotels, different room types even, and different dates allow you to get a certain amount of credit. Now, what we really, really loved was that Attraction Tickets actually honoured this deal that Disney are offering as well. So we still got the same perks. So even though we booked ages ago and we changed our dates back in February, March time, we still were given the discount. I didn't have to call them. They just emailed and said we were eligible, and they've added it to the account already. So that was so ideal. So we are going to be staying at Pop. We've got the $500. Now, I did look at moving us into a moderate, which is the next tier up. So we're looking at either Coronado Springs or Caribbean Beach. I don't really love I'm just not fussed, okay? I'm not fussed about Caribbean Beach. I've been there, stayed there, and I find it too big. It's very overwhelming. There's a lot of internal buses. Although we'd have our own car, I've done it and stayed there, and it's just, I don't want to go back there. So Coronado could be an option, because basically I was looking at how much do you save if you get more dining credit. If you pay a bit more to be in a nicer hotel, then do you get more credit and whatever. But actually I think Pop is a good option for us. We're happy there. We don't spend an awful lot of time in the hotel resort anyway, so we just want somewhere that is convenient. We can use the Skyliner, and somewhere we haven't been. I think it'd be nice to see somewhere we've not tried yet. So that is what we're planning on doing. Pop Century, $500 dining credit. We've got our own car. We've got the tickets. We've also already sorted out our tickets for Universal Studios as well through attraction tickets. And the big thing to note as well, we have only paid a deposit. So we've paid £200 deposit, but they've recently brought that down to £50 deposit, which is an absolute, just such a good deal. I've never seen it like that. £50 deposit, and you don't have to pay your final balance. I think it's only a few weeks before your trip. We've not paid any extra towards this trip yet. I'm grateful for that, because if we'd had our money locked into this trip and we're moving it around and it's being cancelled or whatever, I think I would have felt a little bit stressed about trying to get a refund. So I'm really pleased that we just have the deposit down. But the most important thing to note is if you are a Disney hotel guest, you can still book your park passes, and you still have access to your My Disney Experience app and account, so you can book park passes. I hope this makes sense. You might want to watch my other video if you're not sure what a park pass is, but you have to have park passes to visit the parks that you want to go to per day. They have started introducing park hopping, but I think it's only one additional park per day. But you'll want to get your park passes booked in as soon as possible. We're already seeing some of those major holiday dates booked out. So the 1st of October is already sold out for Magic Kingdom and Epcot. The earlier you can do it, the better. We don't know if Disney are going to scrap park passes later on, but as they are still running at a reduced capacity, I just wanted to get them sorted as soon as possible. So that's been great. We have all that locked in. But if you are just booking tickets, I believe you do have to pay off the full payment to be able to access the tickets themselves. But if you're a hotel guest, I think you only need to give a deposit. Hopefully that all makes sense. With the flight, we've booked with Virgin. We're flying out from Heathrow. We normally fly Gatwick, so be interested to see what it's like to fly from Heathrow to Florida. We have already paid in full for the flight. We had no real choice with that one. It was about £1,200-ish, £1,300 for us both, which is pretty good. That's sort of my budget always for a flight. It just so happened that it's still the same price, so we've locked in on that as well. So flight is all done, and I can actually pre-book our seats next week, which is quite exciting. So I'm going to book the seats. Other than that, I've still not found the right insurance policy for us just yet, so I'm still sort of hunting around for that. I think I'll probably end up doing something beginning of next year once I know exactly what cover we're going to need. I'll also need to look into car insurance for us as well, so I'm not going to stress about that just yet. Don't want to book in those policies if we're moving these trips around. Other than that, obviously we will need to be budgeting for additional food outside of the credit we've been given that we can spend at dining locations on Disney property, but we pretty much don't need to book or plan for anything else now. We can't book dining or fast passes, so there's no more planning on my side now. We just locked in for next year, and that is it. I thought it was also worth mentioning and a couple of other reasons why Benj and I wanted to move to 2022. So obviously it's a big holiday for us. We don't do it often, and so when we do it, we want it to be as magical and special as possible. We also wanted to enjoy Flower and Garden Festival. We've done Food and Wine at Epcot, and we wanted to try Flower and Garden, so that's why we're going a little bit later. Also, we had to look into the dates for spring break. Spring break runs slightly later in April next year, so we wanted to avoid as many crowds as possible, which is why we've chosen to go in May. The other thing is the ride closures. So we really are hoping to get on either Guardians or Tron, and both rides, big rides, Guardians in Epcot, Tron in Magic Kingdom, big roller coasters are coming to the parks, but they've been delayed until 2022. Disney are predicting summer or fall, so I think we may miss them. If we do, then we do, but we're really hoping that by postponing the trip just a little bit longer, we might have a good chance of being able to ride those newer rides. So fingers crossed for us, because we are desperate to go on Tron. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be so good. I think that's pretty much everything you need to know about our trip to Florida. There isn't much I can plan or do right now. I'm just so excited about it, and I'm thinking of anyone that's had cancelled trips, or if you're a cast member and you're back at work. I have friends that are between, well, I have one in California and I have one in Paris, and I know it's just such a mad time right now. So yes, thinking of all of you. So speaking of Paris, we might as well talk a little bit about Disneyland Paris reopening, because I am desperate to get back there. I did actually have 2 cancelled Disneyland Paris trips that we booked, and yeah, completely had to get a refund on. The cases in France have been quite high. We were due to go now in May. Disneyland Paris is reopening in June. We've got the revamped New York hotel that is now the Art of Marvel, which looks amazing. So we'd love to go and stay there and check that out and just get a little bit of Disney magic, go there for an extended long weekend. So Disneyland Paris is on our radar. However, we are waiting for the UK government to move France out of the amber traffic light system. So we need it to go into the green, because if you do go out to France, you have to quarantine for 10 days. And although I can do that, Benji, my boyfriend, can't. So we can't go to Paris until things change there. So that is on my radar. So fingers crossed we can get some Disneyland Paris vlogs in for you this year and get to Disney in that way. The only other option we had was obviously the cruise. So the Disney Staycation, Disney Magic at Sea UK cruise that's leaving 4 different ports across the summer. 2, 3 and 4 night sailings is going to be an amazing experience. However, there were a few factors that didn't make this possible. The biggest one that just meant it was completely impossible was that you have to be fully vaccinated and at least a week after your last vaccination before you can go on the trip. And although Benji is fully Pfizered up, I am not yet. I have not been called forward because of my age. So it just was not possible. It would have been, I would have had to have been vaccinated a few weeks ago if I wanted to have made it in time for the Southampton sailings, because we live in Bournemouth, so it just made sense that we would have gone from Southampton. So we kind of ruled that out and decided we're going to work on our garden this year, get that renovated and do some UK staycations instead. So we ruled that one out. But also as well, I always envisioned my first Disney cruise would be over in the US. I want to do the Castaway Cay private island. I want to do it like how I always envisioned it, and I don't know, I also found that it was a very expensive trip for what you get. Less shows, less things, mask wearing all the time. I just don't know if I would have loved the experience for the price that we would have been paying. You're looking at like 2-3 grand for 3 or 4 night stays for a balcony room. I wanted the balcony because I felt like, just in case we were confined to our room, or we had to stay there for an extended time, or we wanted to remove our masks, I just thought it would be nice to have a balcony. And I did price it up anyway, and it just was so expensive. So we decided, you know what, it's not meant to be. We'll put that money towards Florida for next year, and we will get out and do a cruise. I would love to extend our Florida holiday and do a cruise as well, but I just don't know how possible that is for Benji's holiday. But that's everything. So we're looking at Florida next year, Paris hopefully for later this year. We'll see how things go. Wishing everyone that's going on the staycation cruise the very best. I hope you have the most amazing trip. And if you have any questions or you want to talk about what you're doing, let me know your countdowns. I shared ours on Instagram today, and loads of people were commenting with their countdowns and what they're planning on doing. So yeah, fingers crossed for us all, and thinking of all of you. Have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you again in the next ones. Bye.